Welcome to In Between Spaces. So plans need to be achievable. Then I encourage everyone to dream big, but at the same time, dream dreams that are attainable. You know your strengths, you know your weakness. The important thing is not about how fast you are able to make this money. It's about how consistent you are in making it and managing it. Right? You don't just want to go and write, I want to make 100 billion. Do you even have the capacity to manage 100 billion at the moment? Hi guys! So if this is your first time listening to this podcast, you are welcome. My name is Blessed Onohan. I'm the host on this podcast. But if this is not your first time, hi besties, welcome back. I can't believe I just called besties. But yeah, it's been an amazing year. It's been awesome. It's been awesome that you're alive. I know what you're thinking. It may have not been as awesome as you want it to be, but yeah, you're alive. Okay? I'm alive, so that's something. It counts for something. So I know that we are coming towards the end of the year. There's a lot of mixed emotion for some people. For me, I used to have it. I still have it. Yeah. So we've done the year 2023. We did our best. We put in the work. And now we've had some time to reflect, and we are looking at how we want to improve and what we want to do better in our 2024. So I'm just here to give my two piece on that, and maybe share my plan with you if that can, my plan guide with you if that can help. So I will start by saying it's okay to be alone sometimes. Right? It's okay to take a break from all the buzzing and noise and listen to yourself. It's okay not to want to be out there for a while, to be in your own space. You might not be doing a lot of thinking, but allow you to get into those spaces or into that time at some point, because that is when you get most clarity for some things that for some experience you've had lately. That's when you have time to think about it. How did this go? How did I have this experience? Wow, okay, I think this is how it started. I think I woke up, I think I slept early the day before. So one of the thinking, I wasn't even thinking, I was just lying down and resting, and then I'm like, wait, I just had a really good day. And I was thinking of how was today different. It wasn't today like today, but I was like, how was that day different from the other days I've had recently? And I'm like, okay, let's start with, I slept around 9. I think I turned off my network like past 9, few minutes past 9. So that helped me wake up earlier. I started my day like really early. And it wasn't alarm. Oh my god, you guys, alarm annoys the hell out of me, and my alarm doesn't really wake me up like that. So I have to set 5:20, 5:25, 5:30 before it wakes me up. But so I was thinking about what made the little details that actually added to what made my day really good. And the fact that alarm didn't have to wake me up, I woke up before the alarm. The calmness of that, I had time to pray, I had time to think. And then it reminded me I even needed, like, because I woke up on a very calm note, I knew I was supposed to call my mom. But if I woke up the normal me lately, let me put it that way, the normal me lately, I'll just wake up and then I have a long list of things I need to do. I'll just get to this. There is no time to actually, oh, you are supposed to call your mom. It's true. Do you get? These things can happen most times when you are in your own space, not even thinking about them. Maybe just be happy, okay? It's also okay if you don't know for certain or the details of everything you want to achieve in 2024. That is totally fine. I get it that some people have it all planned, you have it all figured out, these are the things, you are very clear on, this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to achieve. But it's also okay if you don't have it all planned out. Let's take it bit by bit. I think my plan might be able to help, because this plan helped me last year. Yeah, I made this plan. I used this plan guide last year, and I'm using it again this year. And the funny thing is, Pastor B that talked about it during one way. Sorry, my voice is getting. It was Pastor B that talked about it during one Wednesday meet. What is midweek prayer. We talked about in November, I don't remember last year. So let's break it down. Financial plans. What are some money moves you want to make this coming year? So plans need to be achievable. Then I encourage everyone to dream big, but at the same time, dream dreams that are attainable. You know your strengths, you know your weakness. The important thing is not about how fast you are able to make this money. It's about how consistent you are in making it and managing it. Right? You don't just want to go and write, I want to make 100 billion. Do you even have the capacity to manage 100 billion at the moment? Okay? Make plans that are not going to weigh you down, that are achievable. They have to be a bit you have to dream big, right? You have to dream outside of your horizon, but don't go and pass yourself. Let's just keep it like that. Write it down. It might look big, but do you think you have what it takes to pull it off? That is the important thing. Do you think you are set to work the work that will bring that money? If you are not set, cut it down, sis. Cut it. So what are some career plans? What do you want to do in 2024 regarding your career? Do you want to get a new job? Do you want to be better at your current job? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to partner with some brands? What are some career goals you want to achieve? Now let's take it from the standpoint of where you are currently. What are you doing at the moment? So you can't be selling, okay, you can't be a product designer, a junior product designer with less than 1 year experience right now, and you're telling me that you are writing in your goals that next year you want to be a senior designer in Apple. Let's cut it from where we are at this point, okay? Your standpoint at the moment, what are you currently doing? Okay, are you a mid-level designer? Do you want to get... Are you a junior designer? Do you want to get to mid-level? Are you a senior designer? Do you want to become a principal designer? Right? Let's make it attainable. Now, if you've written down your career goals, okay, let me talk about the plans first before we talk about how we are going to achieve them. So just write this thing down, dream big, but at the same time, let them be achievable. Let it be something you can attain. You know you have the strength and the capacity to do it. Okay, the next is your spiritual plans. How many hours do you want to pray in a day? How many times do you want to fast in a week? How many times do you want to actually pray, and you are necessarily not praying about yourself? You are basically interceding for someone else, something that is not going to benefit you. I think that is one way we know we are growing spiritually. When you see yourself praying for like 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, and you're basically not asking God to do anything for you. Yeah? And you're actually not asking God to... It's not your personal needs you're praying for. You are praying for believers. You are praying for souls. You are praying for children under the bridge that you met. You are praying for people that are sick that you don't know where they are. You think of those at the hospital and you're like, I really want to pray for these people. You are praying for people at the prison. And yes, part of my goals for 2024 is actually to visit the prison. I've never been to a prison before, but I know I always pray for people at the prison, but I've never been there before. So I think, yeah, that's part of my goals, spiritual goals for 2024. I don't know why it's under spiritual, but yeah, it's more like a spiritual thing for me, I guess. Yes. So these are the kind of goals you can set for your spiritual goals. How many hours do you pray now? Please don't come put I want to pray 7 hours. You don't jump stuffs like that. The important thing is how consistent can you be. If you were praying 30 minutes, you can take it to 1 hour. So for your goals for 2024, if you are praying 30 minutes at the moment, you can say for 2024, I want to be able to pray for 2 hours. Now we can break it down into the different quarters. In your first quarter, you want to make sure that maybe you can pray for 45 minutes. Then from there, we can go to 1 hour. Pray 1 hour for the next maybe 1 month. You can now say, okay, I'm getting stamina. I can take it to 1 hour 10 minutes. I can take it to 1 hour 20 minutes. Okay? And yes, how many hours do I want to read my Bible? In a week. I'm sorry I'm putting this in a week, but this is from my own standpoint, right? I can't say how many hours I want to read the Bible in a day because no, I can't take that. So I take time to read my Bible during the weekend, but on weekdays I read from my Bible app and I spend minutes. I don't know if I spend up to an hour, but I think I spend 30 minutes tops, 35. Right? I think that is something I can improve too in 2024. Yeah, I actually need to write that down. I need to add it to this. So how long can you read your Bible for in a day? Because is what you feed your mind that you'll be able to give out. From what you have inside, that is what you are able to talk about. What do you feed your mind with? Are you feeding it with the word of God? Not just about what you tell others, about what you tell yourself when the enemy tries to make funny statements or funny comments in your head and you're like, are you joking? Me that is a royal priesthood, a holy nation. Do you get? Or when the devil comes to say this your sickness self, you're like, maybe it's not, you might not even know it's the devil. You just be like, this my sickness self. It's not your sickness. In Christ Jesus you are whole. On the cross God paid the debt in full. Do you get? Or when you say, I don't even think I'll be able to make money. I don't even have ideas. The Bible says it's the Lord that gives us the strength and it's God that gives us the strength to make wealth. So ideas are from the Lord. A lot of successful people, like the really successful people that were recorded in the Bible, they were believers and they really loved God. Okay? So what we feed our mind with is going to help us down the year, even when the enemy tries to raise a head. I remember a few months ago when I was still in school. School is not for the weak. Let's just put that out yet. But the enemy brought up a lot of controversial thoughts in my head, and at that point I knew all I could take it down with were words that I read from the Bible. It doesn't have to be exact with what you've read in the Bible, but the fact that knowledge is in your head. So when you're speaking and you say, as the Lord has said, do you get? The Bible says, and I prophesy over yourself. This adulting is not for the weak. You need to be able to make some declarations over yourself. Right? So, oh my God, spiritual plans took a lot. So, travel plans. Which states do you want to visit? Which countries do you want to visit? That's the funny thing. When I was making my travel plans for last year, I put in that I want to travel to 3 African countries and 2 states. Not even states. I think Ogudu and one other resort like that. I didn't go to the states. And then I made this travel plan. I actually made it with my friend. We were both in final year then. So I didn't go to these 2 places because I was being a student major part of this year, and the other part I was fighting for my life at work. Okay. But then I did travel to another country, and that was such a happy experience for me. And the funny thing, it didn't even happen costing me money. Do you get? It didn't even happen with the way I would have imagined it to happen. Yeah. God took care of it. That is, He allowed me visit 1 country this year. So you see now, it's okay not to have all your goals ticked off at the end of the year. Right? You can just continue from that the next. I mean, if we have it all figured out before 45, 50, what will we not be doing then? Allow yourself to live at the moment. Allow yourself to turn through the pages of the chapters of living, or the pages of living every day. You don't know what the next page is going to be about, so you have to turn it to see. It's okay that you stopped. I wanted to read the 3 chapters of this book today, and I stopped at chapter 2 maybe page 20. It's okay to stop there. Tomorrow I can start from page 21. It's not running. I know some people say life is short, live at the moment, but you're not going to live at the moment at the expense of your joy. Okay? Write these dreams down. Write these goals down. I think it's in Habakkuk. Is it Habakkuk or Haggai? It's in Habakkuk that the angel of the Lord was saying, write these visions down. It is for what has not been now, but for a time. Is for what is not currently in motion, but it's for a time to come. Do you get? So write down your dream. I think when I was reading, I was just reading like a normal person. I said, hello, write down your dreams. That is what that place means. Write it down. It might not happen at the end of 2024. Although we are going to make declarations and prayers and tell God what we want, and he said what we want, we are going to get them. But for any reason, if he didn't want us to get anyone in 2024 that we are going to write down, I need us to believe that everything works together for good for those that love God. It works together for good. The picture is not clear now, but in 1 year, 2 years time, it is going to be clear why some things that we wanted in 2023 didn't come in 2023. And they are, well, the glory of the latter shall be greater than the former. I hope that helps. So that's on travel plans. Write down states you want to visit, write down countries. See, I told you, I even visited one of the countries I wrote down, and I didn't even have to pay for it to get. Now, relationship plans. So this involves not just romantic relationships. We are talking about relationship with your parents, relationship with your siblings, relationship with your friends, relationship with an outsider that you've not met before. Now we can talk about your romantic relationship. How were you a friend? Okay, how were you a daughter this year? How do you plan on working on that? Did you do amazing? Do you want to do great? Do you get? How do I be a better sister? How do I be a better son? How do I be a better daughter? These are things that come into relationship. Do I want to put my friends, put a reminder every 2 weeks to call my friend, to call this person? So every 2 weeks I want to call Debbie. Every 2 weeks I want to call Choma. Every 2 weeks I want to call Kali. It's very easy to lose connections with people because a lot is happening as an adult. And if you are not intentional about keeping your friendships, you are going to wake up one day, you are going to be feeling alone, and the devil is going to speak to your heart. You're alone. Can't you see how you are alone and you don't have anybody? No, you are not alone, and your friends still love you. All you have to do is reach out. All you have to do is send that text. Everyone is busy, quite true. But they are going to show up for you. You know how many times and in friendship, one thing is forgiveness. One very important thing I've learned with friendship is forgiveness. I can't even count how many times my friends forgive me this year because small thing, I'll ghost all of you. Small thing, but no. I did a lot of learning with friendship this year, and I think I want to do more next year. So these are things you can put into your relationship goals. Now I'll talk about your romantic relationship. It is actually very important. While we have our friends that make us feel really fulfilled, we all deserve to have that one love, that one partner that is going to bring the butterflies to our tummy. Please, set your romantic goals. Set it straight. All right, so we've talked about our financial plans, our career plans, spiritual plans, travel plans, relationship plans. So now let's talk about our personal plans. Your self-care. How were you able to manage yourself better this year? The love you've been showing others, the accommodation you've been giving others, have you been that forgiving to yourself? For me, one of the things that comes under my personal goals is hair care. Ice cream money. Every month, this is how much I can spend on ice cream because I cannot be stressed. Small stress like this, I don't want to go buy ice cream. I cannot come and die. Okay, so but on a very serious note, I know that the things that come under personal goals, you talk about books you've read. How many books did you read this year? Did you read 1? Did you read 5? Did you read 10? Do you want to read this kind of books next year? How many do you want to read? Why do you want to read it? What do you want to work on? What do you want to improve? Do you want to improve your communication skill? Do you want to improve your stakeholder management? Do you want to increase your business? So that way you can narrow down the kind of books you want to read for next year. The books you read this year, what did they help you do? The ones you are going to read next year, it's more like research yourself. The ones you read this year, what did they do for you? What are they currently doing for you? How have they been able to change your mindset? How have they been able to increase your knowledge? Now, what are the things you want to achieve next year? You've written them down. Now, let's read books in line with what we want to achieve next year. There are some books I took screenshot of from Bella Book Status. They are more of career woman books. So I took screenshot of those books because I have analyzed the books I read this year. I've seen what they are doing for me currently, and I'm seeing the woman I want to be in 2024. So I want to read books that are going to put me in that light. Do you get? So what are those books? I think book is very important. How many hours you want to spend seeing a movie? In a week? Okay? Don't say you don't. Okay, for those that don't see movie, it's okay. But if you actually watch movie, how many hours do you want to spend watching movie? It's good for relaxation. You cannot come and kill yourself. Remember, we are still young. Another thing is your care day. Do you just spend your money on clothes and on being outside? If having food in the house is important to you, I think you should be intentional about that. It comes under your personal goals. Make plans around always having food in the house. That is if it keeps you at peace. If having data keeps your mind at rest, these are personal goals. Work on yourself. You want to always be in the right frame of mind. If I used to buy 15,000 naira data for the month, maybe I should start buying 20,000 to ensure I don't ever stay without data or have the moments that I don't have data. So in this amount I'm expecting to earn next year, how much am I willing to spend on data? In 3 months, how much am I willing to spend on data? Every month, that I don't have to be stranded about it. I don't have to call and say, please, I need data. I feel like in your personal goals, you're writing down things that are going to put you in the right frame of mind to be able to do the work and to be able to be your best self in 2024, which is what we are working towards. You want to be your best self career-wise. You want to be in the right frame of mind to make this money. You have to be in the right frame of mind to actually have time for God. You don't always have to be in the right frame of mind to have time for God, but I want your coming to God not only have to be for asking. You actually have to come to God at some point that you're like, yeah, I just came to thank you. I just came to have a discussion. I just came to list out the things you've done for me this week, and I want you to know how grateful I am about them. You don't always have to come to God distressed. You don't always have to come to God stressed. You don't always have to come to God, I've not eaten, my data is about to finish, I don't know where my next rent is going to come from. What are some things that are going to put you in the right frame of mind? Let's talk about that. Let's think about that. Let's write about those things. For me, data is important to me. I hate my data finishing. It changes my mood. Do you get? Your priorities, put them down. Hair care day, I know my sister talks about it, and I also noticed Bella talks about it. If you're a lady, or even as a guy, have a hair care day, like for the month, you bring out a particular day, go to the salon, sit down, have a clean haircut. Do you get? Have your nails, get manicure and pedicure services. You don't have to do it every week. Yeah, from what I've seen from my sister, she does it like monthly, and from Bella Books too. I noticed Bella Books does it monthly. That way, you're going to feel beautiful and confident every time you step out of your house. Okay? So let's be fast. So we've talked about financial goals, career goals, spiritual goals, travel plans, relationship plans, and personal goals. Write them down. I talked about in the Bible where the Bible said, write down these visions. Write it, let it be clear. It is for a time to come. You get? So another reason why I also like writing down my plans and my goals is most times if you don't write them down, when they happen, you don't even know something has changed in your life. But then when you open journal, if I open the journal I wrote in 2019 or 2020 and I look at the things and then I'm like, so most times I randomly stumble on them when I'm not feeling really okay. Do you get? And then after looking at them, I'm like, girl, are you joking? This is more than you wrote. This is more than you prayed for. So write them down. So when you write them down, we'll now divide them into the different quarter we have in the year. That is how I did it for this 2023. First quarter, what do I want to achieve? Second quarter, what do I want to achieve? And yeah, I'm a graduate. I'm sorry, I didn't want it to come out that way, but yeah, the thing is, I segmented them into quarters, even though for most part of it, I was fighting for my life. But going back to the journal, looking at it now, I'm seeing that, okay, you see, after first quarter, you see that the one you had ticked off is ticked off, second quarter is ticked off, third quarter, there are some things there that weren't ticked off, you move them to fourth quarter, and now I'm looking at them, even those that won't be achieved this year, next year we move, we go again. Okay, so write them down. Write them down, segment them into the different quarter that we have, and pray about it. It doesn't have to be you going to church, kneeling down or lying down. God is your father. You are a child of God, not a grandchild of God. You are a child of God. Most times when I'm talking about my goals with God, they are more like conversation, and I'm like, dear Lord, see the things I want to achieve within the next 2 months. I need to achieve them because this and this. I'm coming before you because I know that you're the one that understands me so much, and you've set these dreams in my heart. I need this. Do you get? Make these prayers, have it more as a conversation. And I know there's this training I took, and he was like, the pastor was like, after prayer, sit down, don't leave immediately, allow yourself to be quiet and hear God. That's another way to hear God, you guys. Like, sit down there, you've made your supplications, you've talked about it like you're asking your dad for stuff. I don't know why it's very relatable to me. It's more like I'm calling my dad and I'm giving him like a long list of stuff that I want, and I'm like, Daddy, this is why I want this. Okay, this is what I plan to do with this when it happens. I really need this to come true for me because blah 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 blah. The one we are praying to has been to earth before. He understands you. He understands me. Talk to him like you're talking to your father. Talk to him like you're talking to the one person you know that cares so much about you in this world. Yep. So we've talked about our plans, writing it down, separating it into different categories, into different months or different quarters of the year. That way you cannot break it down months, weekly, daily. I think there is this journal that Bella Books is selling. It's not, I think, I know. And the journal will actually be helpful. So you can check Bella Books on Instagram. I've never bought the journal myself, but I'll buy it in January because I didn't budget for it this year. So I didn't budget early for it. So yeah, that's it. Your plans don't have to be off perfect. They don't have to be. You don't have to be certain about everything in it. I think in my plan, there are two things that are conflicting. Yeah, they are very much conflicting. But I wrote both of them down. They are very big. It's more like dream. God can fund it. I wrote them down. So if one happens, one of them has to happen. It's not like two of them cannot happen. Okay, two of them can actually happen. Think of it. Two of them can actually happen. Let's not go into detail. But it's okay not to have them figured out. You see, as I'm having this conversation, I'm figuring out that those two can actually happen. They can. So yeah, write it down. Pray about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. Let me tell you about the verse the Holy Spirit showed me this week. Right? It was talking about how you don't have to have it all clear. That was 1 Corinthians. Yeah, that was 1 Corinthians 13 verse 12. Let me read it. You can read it in NLT version. I just checked my Bible app. Now we see things imperfectly. I'm reading 1 Corinthians 13 verse 12. Now we see things imperfectly, like pausing reflection in a mirror. But then we see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete. But then I'll know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. As you keep going, it gets clearer. This statement I made now, I didn't know it firsthand from reading my Bible. I knew it firsthand from design. So no matter how big a task is or a brief comes, take that first bold step of starting. Just start. As you keep going, it gets clearer. So if you just leave the FRD there, guy, I don't understand this FRD, I'm never going to work on it. Jesus, how do I put this off? Start from somewhere. Start from asking questions. Start from reading it. So you've read it 2, 3, 4 times. For once you don't understand, you've read it 2, 3, 4 times. Oh yeah, what are the things I don't understand? Ask question. Research around it. Do you get it? That's the same thing we are going to do about these plans for 2024. We are going to write them down as big as they are. And we are going to work towards them. Working towards them includes researching around it. Working towards it includes finding out those that have already done it before us. Working towards it involves laying out plans to achieve it. Calling up friends that we know can help us pull it off. God is going to help his children. And he's going to use men. So don't just say, they are my plans, I have to work 24 hours round the clock around them. No. That is why you have friends. Friends are going to come and they are going to show up. So you are going to pray about it and God is going to send the right network you need to help you achieve it. Okay? Let me conclude. I actually have something else I wanted to talk about. Okay, yeah, I visited the resort about a week ago, in the spirit of listening to myself. I didn't even know when I got into that, so that is the funny thing. So it's now when some of my friends reached out to me in the past few days, like 2 or 3 days. They're like, Bless, what's going on? And I'm like, you guys have actually been fine. I didn't even know when I got into that space, but I knew I needed to align with myself. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But yeah, I visited this place and it was more like a solo date. I'm sorry, you guys, I have cough. Sorry about that. So it was more like a solo date and I was just listening to my environment and having a good time. I know it sounds weird, but I had a really good time. And then I saw the birds flying. Like, they were so free. It felt like they owned the horizon they flew through. It felt like I understand this place so much that it's more like my kingdom. I rule. Right? And there's something else I noticed. One, I noticed their confidence as they flew around. And then, yeah, that confidence is very important. And I noticed that as they flew, at some point, they'll go and perch on a tree or something. This is me telling you that in 2024, it's okay to rest. Rest. It's okay to rest and get back up and continue. You don't always have to have it all figured out. When you are tired, rest. And I don't mean just when you come back from work. When you know you wake up this day and you are like, I actually don't have the strength to do anything. Rest. Rejuvenate. Get back. You see you come back stronger. Then that confidence I saw them fly with, I noticed it comes from, they've mastered this thing. Not like mastered or perfect. I know that some of them haven't been, well, let me not go into details, but they flew with confidence because they knew where they were going to and they know their environment that much. How much do you know what you are venturing into? How much do you know your career? Because that is the only way you are going to step in and make contribution and talk, and your talk is going to hold power. You have to master your skill. You have to master your area of expertise. You have to be excellent. Yup. Let's aim for excellence in 2024. That is why I always love reading Daniel. I love how Daniel was really excellent. So I'll end this podcast with Psalm 32, 8 and 9. So this Psalm, I read it mid this year. I think it was around August. But I forgot where I read this from. So, like 1 week ago, God kept setting it in my mind. When I was writing out most of my plan, God kept setting it in my mind. I'm like, I don't even know where it is. I even used ChatGPT. I did not see it. I even reached out to some of my friends. And then they were like, I don't know. And the thing is, I wasn't telling them the exact way it was in the Bible. I was telling them the line, but it wasn't the way the line was in the Bible. It was how the Holy Spirit spoke to me when I read it. I was telling them about it. You get? I wasn't quoting I wasn't reading the verse to verse. And then I searched everywhere. I even searched online. I did not see it. It was giving me Isaiah, different places. I was a bit sad because God kept putting it in my heart. I'm like, I need to read this and be certain what God is telling me about this plan. And why God is telling me to find this, I even contemplated asking my pastor in church. But no, I had an idea. I decided to go through my bookmarks on YouVersion for the past how many months. You guys, it was work. Oh, I did, and I found it. So let me read it for you. Psalm 32, 8 and 9. The problem is, I think I even found it, like, I missed all this. I was looking for it, but I was reading it in another translation. So I feel like when God gave me that word, I always read in NLT. So I think I was reading it in NLT, and when that came, when I was getting another meaning of the word, I had to compare. You know, the compare feature on YouVersion. So I had to compare, and I saw it in another translation. And it was in that another translation that God was speaking to me when I was writing my plans. So I was reading everything in NLT and I wasn't even see it, but I had to go back to my bookmark and I found it. So Psalm 32, 8 and 9. I read it in Passion Translation, so you might want to read it in Passion Translation, so it will give you this context. 32, 8 and 9. Let's do this. Are you ready? I'm sorry. The Lord says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you. Do not be like a senseless horse or mule that needs a bit and bridle to keep it under control. Okay. Do you get that? I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you. Do not be like a senseless horse or mule. So yeah, that's basically it. That's my encouragement, and that is, we are going to have an amazing 2024, and we are going to work with God on it. One prayer I've always made in the beginning of every year is that God holds my hand. Do you know why? Why that prayer is important? Because it's important because as a believer, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be smooth and perfect. You are going to have your down days. But even in that down days, we want God to be there with us. We want God to hold our hands through it. I think it's in Psalm 3. Yeah, Psalm 3. That even when the righteous falls, the Lord is there to help him rise up. This is life. A lot is happening. There will be trials and tribulation. We need to be able to rise in the midst of the problems we are facing. I pray you have the best year yet. I pray I have the best year yet. I pray we achieve everything that is on our list. I pray we achieve way more than it. And when we are looking back, we'll have this episode again, end of 2024. We'll be like, Jesus, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this song and conclude this podcast. So yeah, thank you guys. Bye. Jesus, yeah, you have done it again. Jesus, yeah, in your special way, what was impossible, you made possible. Jesus, yeah, sing it one more time. Jesus, yeah, Jesus, yeah, you have done it again. Jesus, yeah, in your special way, what was impossible, Papa, you made possible. Jesus, yeah. Now listen. Okay, you guys, bye.